in the previous session, we talked about the languages, the generations of computer, the block diagram of computer, what are the parts of computers. So in today's lecture, we are going to learn about the input-output devices that we have for putting the input and getting the output of the system. So when we talk about input devices, basically we have some types or some this is what your computer is comprises of. It has input devices, digitizing, output devices, multifunctional devices, telephony and terminals. Okay, and all of these have some specific characteristics on the basis of which these are being used in the computer. And to start with, input devices, these are used for inputting or giving data and instructions. Input basically means data instructions, and they are directly from the users or from the other sources. It could be either from the directly from the users or through the programs or through the memory if we are using some instruction set. So input is basically given to the system, and the device through which the input comes is the input device. Okay, and the hardware to provide the input to the computer is known as the input devices. And these are some of the examples of input devices, that is keyboard, pointing devices, scanners, image capture devices, audio capture devices. These are all the types of input devices that we have. Now moving on to the keyboards. Keyboard is basically the most common input device, and it has so many types of keys, and this is basically used to give the instructions to the system. And we have certain keys with special characters. We have A to Z in a QWERTY system, and then we have enter, shift, alt, control. All these keys have some specific contribution to the inputting of the data. And the characters, numbers, symbols, they are converted into the electrical signals, and these signals are basically, these signals reach to the your CPU after being translated to the machine language or computer's understandable language. Okay, so the typewriter, keyboard, numeric keypad, special keys, navigation keys are there that are used to move up, down, left and right. And then we have these function keys that actually are used for specific purpose. We have from F1 to F12 in case of keyboards, and every function keys has some specific purpose. And then we have this Windows keys, through which we can simply directly enter into the Windows. And we have toggle keys that are basically used for turns of features on and off. And then caps lock key is used for using capital alphabets in place of small alphabets. And then we have this combination keys. Suppose I want to save something, I'll use Control plus S. So suppose I want to select all the part of the document, you have to use Control plus A, Control plus C, Control plus V. All these keys have some specific purposes, specific reasons. Like Control C is basically used for copy, Control X is used for cut, and Control V is used for paste. And all these alt plus different alphabets. We have all these keys. Alt plus Control plus Alt plus Delete is used to open the task manager. So we have so many key combinations that have some specific purpose through which we that are used to enter the data or to do a specific work. Then these are held in combination with the other keys, and suppose Control key and Alt key are the combination keys specifically. Next is we have this pointing devices. Pointing devices means those devices that have that work on the with the help of the pointer. That pointer moves on the screen according to the device that we hold. Okay, so we used to that control a pointer on the monitor, and that is used to select buttons or menus or links, whatever you want to select. So, and the example of the pointing devices is the mouse. Mouse is the most common pointing devices, and it is mechanical, optical, wireless. We have different types of mouse that are available in the market. And then we have the mouse has basically two types of buttons, left click and right click. We have already talked about this in the last lecture, that mouse has two clicks, and one roller is there on the mouse, and that is used for moving up and down as at a faster speed. And then wireless mouse are there, in which we have the small UCB attached, and then we can simply uh, I'm sorry, USB attached, and we can simply just plug in the USB for using the mouse, and we can use Bluetooth for that. And then the other pointing devices is trackball. Trackball, if you have seen, there used to be a small ball in the center. It was most commonly used in the BlackBerry phones. If you remember, the BlackBerry phones used to have those small trackballs that you can move using your finger and or thumb, or it makes the pointer move on the screen with the help of the movement of the trackball. The next thing is it basically move the roller ball with the help of the thumb. Then we have the touch surface that we have in our laptops, that is a small square area on which you move your finger. You move one or two fingers. That has a specific reason, and that has a specific function. If you move one finger on the touchpad, it helps in moving the pointer on the screen. Move a finger across the surface of the pad, and tap to select. If you are tapping on the surface, then it helps you to select uh, the number or the pointer or whatever you want to point on it. Okay, so the pointing stick is there. Pointing stick is basically used, if you have heard about the some of the phones used to have those pointing sticks through which you can write on the touch screen, or you can write on the content. And then pointing sticks are used to specifically select, if they have the select button attached to them, and it is basically there in the middle of the keyboard, and you can move with the finger. Okay, other pointing devices are joystick. The joysticks are basically mainly popular for the computer games. You can, with the help of joysticks basically had those arrows attached to them, and with the help of those joysticks you can move your whatever player is there in the games. You can move the player ahead or backward, or you can make it jump. So all these things were possible with the help of joystick, and it basically is a way in which the user grips the stick in their hand and move it, and because of the movement, the player or the thing that you're going to move on the screen moves. Okay, then we have touch screen. Touch screen is there in every most of the laptops and most iPads, phones. These are some special monitors in which we have the display, and then we can select or use the device with the help of the screen only. Okay, so screen layer with the crisscross beams are there of infrared light, in which you can just specifically touch on the screen for selecting or using the device. Okay, so you can copy data from the source using those touch screens. And then we have this types of scanners. First is optical scanner, another one is barcode reader. Then we have character and mark recognition. How optical scanners work: they are used to copy text or images, and they can display those images, and you can print those images or store those images that are copied using the optical scanners. There are types of optical scanners in the market. First is your flatbed scanner. A flatbed scanner basically is the one in which you can place your you can place your paper or whatever you want to scan. You can just place that item on the glass surface, and there is a ray of light through which that image is scanned from the below, and that comes on the screen. You can save the content, or you can print that again. You can it can display on the screen. Okay, another one is portable scanners. Portable scanners are basically handheld devices that slides across the source. Uh, and the next thing is the barcode reader. Barcode reader is the photoelectric scanner, and that is basically used in most of the market areas, whenever we go for shopping, we have those barcode readers on the counters. If you've seen those, that small devices are there that are electric scanners through which we can keep the content, the inventory can be maintained using these barcode readers. And these are, every barcode reader is having an individual way of identifying the content. Okay, then we have this, it reads the barcode, then the barcode is looks like the way it is showing in the screen. It is like white and black vertical bars are there that are used to define, and that is a universal product code is used for using in the barcode scanner. And then we can see these barcode scanners in the grocery stores and retail stores and many places. Even if you have seen those forms that you fill, the all of those have those barcode written on them to identify and the individuality of the thing that we are going to have a barcode scanning on. Then we have the character and mark reader. Character and mark reader basically is the magnetic ink character reader, MICR, and it reads magnetically encoded characters. And then we have this optical character reader that is used to, that reflects the light off and special pre-printed characters. And then we have the optical mark recognition, that is OMR. OMR is also used for sense presence and the absence of the marks. Okay, so these are some of the recognition devices that we use. Scanner, the types of different types of scanners that are used for identifying and reading the content or getting the input from the different sources. And then we have this image capturing devices. Image capturing devices are the ones that are basically used to capture an image and save the original images. It creates and capture original images. The digital camera is one of the examples. Digital video cameras, webcams, through which you get the picture, you get the images, and you can save those images, store those images, print those images, or you can transfer those images using different communication ways. So digital camera is one of those the image capturing device in which the image is recorded digitally to the memory. And the difference between digital camera, digital video cameras is you can capture the motion with the help of video cameras, and using digital cameras you can only click the image. And then we have these webcams through which you can simply broadcast on the internet. We can directly put pictures on the internet. We can have a video conferencing on the internet using the webcams. Then we have these digitalizing devices. These are the captures characters, map drawings, and flat surface writing devices. These the types of these devices is graphic tablets. Graphic tablets, these kind of devices are basically used for creating the diagrammatical images, and these are some special tablets that are used to create for example, a digital notebook is there. For the regular paper and pen, you simply write on the notebook for giving the content to the as input. Then we have this audio input devices. Audio input devices are used to convert the sound to the digital into the digital format. The data that is input is sent to the system is through the audio input device. You like mic or something, you just enter the data using the speech, and that speech or that sound is converted into the digital format, and that digital format is understandable by the computer. So this is mainly used in voice recognition system. Voice recognition systems have those special way of recognizing the voice, and it operate, the computer operate on the that voice command that we provide using the voice recognition. Then we have that depends on the dictation, microphone, sound card, softwares. And then we have this discrete and continuous types of voice recognition, or the types of audio input devices that we have. And then we have this voice recognition system, and it has some types, some specific types in which we recognize the individual words based on the sounds. Then we have this discrete speech recognition. Then we have this continuous speech recognition, and then we have that evaluates the context of the word. So these are some of the types of voice recognition system. I can explain all these things individually. To start with, recognizing individual words based on the sounds, the sound that is being that is being produced, and that sound is converted into those digital forms, and that is recognized to use to recognize the individual words that the sound is producing. Then we have this discrete speech recognition. Discrete speech recognition, in this we can the sound same sound words cannot be distinguished. Discrete sound recognition is the one in which the like this the words that sound similar, like accept, and these kind of words that are similar sounding, but so the difference cannot be made very easily. But in this continuous speech recognition, we can distinguish the same sound words. For example, we have some word that is where, were, right? Except is one of the most common examples for the similar sounding words. And then we have this evaluates context of words. That means the context out of those words are being evaluated in the voice recognition. Then we have the output devices. These were all the input devices that we studied earlier. Now we are moving on to the output devices. Output devices are basically the ones on which the data that is processed, that is known as output, is basically displayed using the output devices. The processed data from the computer is basically known as the output. It could be in the form of text, graphics, photos, audios, videos, in any form. Okay, so these are the most common output devices that are used to display all of these, to provide this content to the user. Are text, graphics, phones, audio and videos, are basically monitor and printer or plotter, voice. So all these are the output devices, most common output devices that are being used to deliver the output to the user. Okay, so moving on to the output devices that we have. To start with, we have the monitors. Monitors are basically most frequently used output device. This actually size are measured diagonally. For example, when we are measuring the size of a television or any screen, any display for that matter, we actually we measure the size diagonally. So screen size of the monitors also are measured diagonally, and the common screen sizes that we use are 15, 17, 19 or 21 inches. And the clarity is indicated by the resolution. Earlier we used to have a lesser resolution, but now with the LED, LCD technologies, we have very high resolution monitors available in the market. So this monitors are the most frequently used output devices nowadays. And the clarity is basically, the resolution is basically measured with the help of the pixels. More big pixels means more clarity. Pixels are basically are the small dots that actually form the screen. You can actually differentiate, or you can see the pixels if you use some sort of those. If you have used the earlier screens, we used to have those square boxes in which those pixels were very clearly visible. Okay, so as many number of pixels are there in the screen, and the more the better will be the clarity of the screen. The resolution would be more clear. Okay, so monitor standards we have. These are some of the standards that we have for monitor. The resolution capabilities indicated by the monitor standards: super video graphic array, extended graphic array, super extended graphic array, and ultra extended graphic array. So these are all the monitor standards that are available in the market, and the most expensive and the most good, I would say, monitors are the ultra extended graphic arrays, graphics array. So these are the types of monitors that are available in the market. First one is cathode ray tubes. CRT monitors were very old. They were used a way a time ago, but these were the most common at that time. Then we have this flat panel monitors. CRT monitors used to have those huge backs. They were bulky, and the flat panel monitors are the ones that we have in the form of, say, whenever we buy a TV, LED, LCDs are those flat panel monitors. Then flat panel monitors are of basically two types: passive metrics and active metrics. And then we have those e-book readers, data projectors, and then we have this high definition television, HDTV. And nowadays the HDTVs are most commonly used. And this is all about the monitors. Now moving on to the types of printers that we have in output devices. The printers are basically used to produce the hard copy of the output that we want to give. Printers are of many types: inkjet printers, laser printers, flatbed. There are many types of printers that we have. And inkjet printers are basically those in which we use spray droplets of ink on the paper from a far distance. Is basically we have those drum printers that were used earlier, in which we used to have a strike of the like a drum. We used to have a strike on the paper. Then we have these laser printers. Laser printers produce produce the images in the laser printers. Then we have these thermal printers, in which heated element produce the image on the heat sensitive papers. Okay, so these are some of the types of printers that are there in the market. Then we have this dot matrix printer. In dot matrix printers, a series of pins are on the print head are there. And then these are less expensive and not very high quality printers. These were earlier used in and these produce too much sound also. Dot matrix printers. Then we have this chain printers. These are used on networks. Chain printers are basically used on networks. Then we have the plotters as devices. Plotters are basically used for maps and architectural drawings and high quality and large size output. Plotters are basically used in graphics. So next is audio output devices to translate computer data into the understandable sounds. We use the audio output devices like MP3 files. The components of these devices are sound card, speaker system or headphones. And the combinations of input output devices, the devices that are in combination of input and output are the devices that are combined into one. Okay, and these devices basically are specialized application and they save room. And the examples would be fax machine or multifunctional devices, telephony or terminals. Fax machines are the ones in which you can transfer the data, you can transmit the data. And facsimile transmission machine is known as the fax machine, and it sends and receives images across telephone lines. Okay, so what it does is basically whatever is, say you want to give a message or you want to send some message on the telephone, you simply say or speak that message, or you put that data in the form of with the help of scanner. If you have a hard copy for that, you put that data with the help of scanner, and that is transported, or that is transferred using the telephone lines. And at the receiver's end, that image is printed with the help of a printer, and that is fax or modem broad. These are the this is the quality of the broad that is being used for fax machine, and it gives computer the same capability of producing giving the input and producing the output. Then we have in multifunctional devices, it combines the scanner, printer, fax machine, copying machine, and it is cost effective and saves space, and it is the most popular in the small offices or houses. Next, in the devices we have telephony. Telephony is it uses internet rather than the traditional communication lines, and it requires internet telephone, internet, and the special service provider, SSP. Okay, so when we talk about telephony, these are used for making communication through internet. All these communication needs to have an internet access, and these are some special service providers. Okay, and then we have terminals, and in terminals we have a few types in which the devices are connected to the servers. and input and output both were there, and the types are dumb terminal, intelligent terminal, network terminal, and internet terminal. But we're going to talk about these terminals in the later lectures. And moving on to the next thing, this is how the future looks like. uh, Brain machine interface, signal interceptor in the brain translates into action on the computer, then restore mobility to paralyzed, and then prosynthetic limbs are there. These are all the future of devices that we have. Virtual reality is there, then prosynthetic links are there. Prosynthetic limbs means the devices that would help to add the limbs to the to the people, and to restore mobility to the paralyzed. We use these kind of interceptors in the brain, and they actually are used to translate the what is there in the brain in the action on the computer. Okay, so this looks like the future of the devices. The brain machine interface is there. Then we have this virtual reality. If you have heard about head mounted display in virtual reality, we have those devices that are mounted on your head, and through those devices you can see, and with the help of hands we can touch and feel the surroundings. That is basically virtual reality is used for feeling the 3D effect or 5D effect. So these are all in the future of the devices. This is the references from which you can study. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any doubts, you can always come to me. Thank you.